God is here at Glory FM.
Nothing like a smooth transition into the midday. Be sure to tune to The Shift Monday to Friday at 12:30 p.m. with Joinae Gibson on Glory 93.9 FM. The freshest wave of glory to hit the Bahamas.
Hey, it's an amazing day here at Glory 93.9 FM. It's 12:30, so you know exactly what that means. You are tuned in and, of course, always locked and loaded on The Shift with yours truly. Thank you for choosing Glory FM. Whether you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or maybe a worldwide listener, I want to say welcome to The Shift. In a month where love is being celebrated everywhere, I keep thinking about how many of us, how many persons, how many of you are showing up, giving more, stretching ourselves so thin just to feel chosen. There are many people in relationships, in families, and even in friendship who are literally loving loud, going the extra mile, but quietly they are feeling unseen. We talk about love, and love is beautiful, right? We talk about it, but I feel that no one really talks about the cost. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about peace, boundaries, and sometimes even identity. If you ever felt this way, today's show is for you. Today, if you are watching on Facebook or on YouTube or even rewatching, you see this beautiful arrangement to my right, maybe your left, right? But to my right. And today's show is being supported by Sela Party Store and Rental Supplies. It's your one-stop shop, for party supplies and all of your rental needs. That is balloons, to balloon columns, to chair covers, table covers, theme balloons, backdrop, chafing dishes, and even popcorn machines, y'all. I love popcorn machines, right? Sela Party Store helps to bring your celebration to life. I want you to check them out today. They sent me this beautiful Valentine's Day balloon column, and I absolutely love it. It's giving love is in the air. It's giving L is for the way you. Okay, I just saying it's giving love, right? And I want you to give them a call today at 242-698-3530. Once again, 242-698-3530 or 242-825-5047. Okay, of course, you can email them. You can find them on Facebook and all social media platforms if you need some more information, like their email, or if you just missed those numbers. Now, shifters, it's time for you to lock in. I'm excited for today's show, and I need you to let everyone know we are locked and loaded. Be sure to like and share this live broadcast. If you know love doesn't cost a thing, I want you just to type that in the comment section because we're in for a ride today, right? So we're locked in every Monday through Friday, 12:30, always here, locked and loaded, and it's for your daily inspiration and conversation. Hey, good afternoon, Ms. Williamson. Good afternoon. Glad to see you. Right, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and, of course, all social media platforms, and that is at Joinae Gibson, Joinae Gibson, right? Of course, shifters, you know, and Miss Williamson already get it. You know that this is an interactive show. I need to hear from you. That means the comment section, the call line, and the text lines are open. Yes, the call line today is 242-827-2543. They're in the comment section, in the caption, and on your screen, right? The call line, like I said, is 242-827-2543, and the text line is 242-817-2544. Text line 242-817-2544. Now, jump in the comment section. Let me know that you're here. Are you feeling Valentine's Day? Are you feeling Valentine-ish? What are you doing? Are you wearing pink or red all week? I've made a conscious decision to wear at least something Valentine-ish every day this week. Pink, red, white, red and white, pink and white, pink and red, everything. Even if it's just my lipstick. Okay? So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm feeling love in the air. Thank you for all of your comments, especially yesterday. A lot of you reached out to me, sent me messages and comments, and there are comments that I even missed on our text line. Thank you so much for your interaction yesterday. And if you are new here to the shift, welcome. You're part of one of the greatest communities. The greatest. I wouldn't say one of. The greatest. Y'all saw what I did there? The greatest community, the Shifters community. And with that being said, let's dive right into today's topic. Now, today, as you may see in your caption, and I'm excited, right? Because you'll understand in the by and by. Today's topic is love don't cost a thing, breaking the habit of overpaying. Love don't cost a thing, breaking the habit of overpaying. And now today we're going to really unpack attention, approval, and authentic love. We say all the time, and I think we hear it all the time, that love don't cost a thing. And on the surface, I can agree. It sounds right. Love shouldn't be bought. Love shouldn't be negotiated. And we don't realize that even when love doesn't cost us, quote unquote, money, it still costs something. By definition, love don't cost a thing simply means that love is not transactional. Love is not performance-based. Love is not earned by pretending or proving or pleasing. And you may not be paying full-on cash or cash money for love, but you are paying with your peace. You are paying with your boundaries. You're paying with your identity. You're paying with your authenticity. And today we're really going to go into that. Now, at some point last week, I told you guys about my obsession. I love a good series. And I also talked about how I absolutely love movies, right? And there are some movies that umpteen years ago they were released and they just stick every time a particular season comes around. There are certain movies that you watch in the same way. When Christmas comes around, we love Home Alone. It doesn't matter how many times we've watched Home Alone already, or for those who like Pretty Woman, there are certain movies that invoke a feeling, or you get that feeling of nostalgia. You could, it could bring back memories. It can make you get in, the spirit. And I'm talking about like seasonal spirits, right? So if you remember, there is a movie entitled Love Don't Cost a Thing. And I promise you, it was my whole thought process for today's show, right? So if you remember the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing, it starts off with this brilliant young man, Nick Cannon, right? And he is overlooked. Right? He pays the most popular girl in school to pretend to be his girlfriend, right? And she is beautiful, she is popular, and overnight his life changes, right? He gets the attention, he gets the access, and he gains the popularity that, he felt like he needed. People finally see him, right? People finally pay attention to him. People finally want to be around him and do certain things with him and have fun with him. But the love isn't real. It's only rented. And at the moment the agreement ends, and I want you to follow me today, at the moment that agreement ends, so does the validation, so does the applause, so does the attention, all of the nine that he thought that he gained, he quickly lost. Now, that movie shows us, or really tells us, something uncomfortable, something worth mentioning today. And it is this: attention can feel like love when you've never been chosen before. I'll let that sit. Attention can feel like love when you've never been chosen before. That leads me to my first point in today's show. Approval. And of course, you know, I love a good definition, right? Approval is the desire to be accepted, validated, or affirmed, often at the expense of truth. In other words, there's no truth in this, right? Approval isn't wrong. I don't want you to think that's what I'm saying, but we're wired for connection. But when approval becomes currency that we use to feel wanted, to feel loved, to feel worthy, then love starts to cost us. You start overgiving. You start overthinking. You start overpaying. You start giving beyond your capacity, not out of love, but out of fear of losing that connection or that relevance or that approval. And I want to take just a pause right here. Hey, Miss Lewis. Hey, Kishana, how you doing? Right? I want to take a moment and just pause right here, and I want you to think about the areas in your life where you are overgiving. You are giving beyond your capacity, whether financially, with your time, whatever it is, right? But you're not giving out of love or out of the goodness of your heart, but you are giving out of that fear of, I don't want to hear this person. I don't want this to come up again. I want to maintain my quote unquote connection. I want to maintain my relevance. I want to seek this person's approval. And we had a show already on people pleasing, so you can go back to that one. Overgiving isn't generosity. It's quiet negotiation. In other words, if I give more, I'll be loved. If I extend myself more, I'll be accepted. If I do this, then I'll become more relevant. And you overgive, you overshare, you overextend, and you think that what is being reciprocated as a result of your oversharing is love. And it's quite the contrary, especially in relationships. And I want you to really reel this in. You're the one always adjusting. You're the one adjusting your schedule. You're adjusting your needs. You're adjusting your standards. Hello. Just to keep the relationship intact. And I'm not just talking about, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking even in your friendships. I'm talking even in your work relationships, where you're constantly adjusting your schedule, your needs, your standards, just to keep that relationship intact. And if that's something that you have to do to keep this person's love, then it's not true love. There is a thing that I see keep coming up where we call it compromise, but it's not really compromise. It's really diminishing who you are. It's actually, and I had to give a definition for this, but it's actually self-erasure, where you're suppressing your own needs, your emotions, your beliefs, your identity to accommodate others. And it's usually, we say things like, well, I'm just trying to keep the peace. I'm just trying to avoid conflict. But it's really you suppressing your own needs or your emotions or your belief or your identity. You know why this is so dangerous? And as I begin to even just study on this, it's so dangerous because it goes beyond people pleasing. It goes beyond just, that surface. It goes into a deeper identity level where a person becomes invisible, where they diminish their true self. And I know this may, seem so way left field, but I feel that it's a topic that we don't talk about enough. And we cover it up with all of the pleasantries. We cover it up with all of the fluff and all of the, fancy things that we love to hear. But the truth is, when you are suppressing your own needs and your own emotions and your belief and your identity just to get the approval of someone else or just to get the acceptance of someone else, it's a dangerous game to play. It's a dangerous spot to be in your friendship. You listen, I think at some point in all of our lives, we have had that friend that you will go to war for. You show up to every birthday party, you show up to every baby shower, you show up to every wedding, you show up to every this, you show up to, when I say everything, you show up to graduation, you show up to everything. And when it's time for you, hey Monique, when it's time for you, bushcrack, man, gone. You can't find nobody. Or even this particular person. So, and I think that sometimes we delude ourselves into thinking, I'm going to pull away. I'm not going to do what I used to do. I'm going to stop oversharing, even in hopes that they would notice that you pull away. And so you're still seeking attention. It's going to be tight, but it's right. You show up for everyone else. You do for everyone else. That particular person, that friend call you and say, man, listen. Hey, Javante. Man, listen, Javante, I got a flat tire. Monique, I need someone to come and cook this noodles for me. Yes, I went to noodles. Yes, I did. I need someone to do this for me because there is no one that can do this like you. But anytime you need this person to show up in the capacity, or it's not even the same capacity that you show up, it's just you need that person to reciprocate that love or the time. It's always an excuse. So when we talk about, if you're just tuning in, we're talking today under the theme, love don't cost a thing. But does it? Because it's really costing you your peace. It's really costing you your identity. It's really causing you your growth. Love don't cost a thing. Breaking the habit of overpaying. If you are honest with yourself today, if you really, get down with the get down and say, something? I've been overpaying in this relationship. I've been overpaying. I've been going the extra mile. Monique say, "What the God? I can't get no noodles. I screaming." Boy, I can hear you saying that, right? But the reality is, we're oversharing. And like Monique, you may not be a noodles kind of girly, but there is something that you do that someone says to you, there is no one that can do this like you. I always need you present. And anytime you need something, maybe not even what you do, but anytime you need something, it becomes difficult to even get that support. Hey, Daniel, I see you. It's difficult to get that support. Okay. My husband watching, y'all. Holy Ghost. I don't know. I suddenly got nervous. Right? So you are oversharing. You're overextending. You're going the extra mile. And, this is a sensitive one, but even with your children. And hear me out. Some parents overgive money They overgive gifts. They overgive access, indulgence, not because, watch this, not because the child needs it, but the parent is trying to compensate for guilt, absence, unresolved wounds. And we talked about this from their upbringing. So you're not, quote unquote, loving your child. You're not loving your child. You're trying to fill a hole that love didn't fill in you. Lord, my throat gets scratchy on that and all. You're trying, excuse me, you're trying to fill a hole that love didn't fill in you. And you burn out. You burn out yourself trying to overcompensate, trying to be there, trying to shower them with gifts. And maybe for you, this isn't a child. Maybe this is something that you do in your friendships. Maybe this is something that you do at work. Maybe this is something that you do in church. You burn yourself out serving, staying late, doing the extra, not because you're called to do it, not because the Holy Spirit led you to do it, not because it is an inner conviction, but because you are afraid of being overlooked. If you're exhausted, if you're resentful and still not secure, then you might be overgiving. Giving more than you have, pouring to be chosen. And if we're honest, when we look around, you can see it. You're constantly tired. You're constantly resentful. You feel that you've done all of this, even concerning jobs. You have persons that will give their lives to companies, give their important milestones in their family, in their children's lives. And then when it's time to compensate, or when it's time to show that love, they feel resentful. They feel exhausted. If you have to empty yourself to be loved, hey Tonya, hey Miss Seymour, how you doing? If you have to empty yourself to be loved, it's too expensive. If you have to betray yourself to be loved, it's too expensive. Saying yes when you really mean no. Staying silent to keep access. Where you know what this person is saying, what the person is doing, it doesn't match your core beliefs, but I just want access to this person. They maybe can open a door for me. They maybe can, help me in the long run. But it's costing you your identity. Every time you betray yourself to keep someone, and I want y'all to hear me good. Every time you betray yourself to keep someone, you teach them how to treat you. I talked about this yesterday where we talked about, boundaries and, we want everyone to respect the boundaries that we place. We want everyone to adhere to the laws around us, right? But you are not even following your own boundaries. You are not even respecting your own boundaries. You don't even truly, and if we're honest, you don't really love yourself. And I don't want you to think what I'm saying is, or I'm encouraging you to be selfish or self-indulgent. I'm not talking about that part of it, but what I am saying is that you don't love you enough to say no when you know that it's going nowhere, which is why you would string that man along. which is why you would string that woman along, because there is an internal conflict. We haven't mastered that confidence yet. We haven't dealt with that self-trust, that alchemizing the pain and turning it into something else. We don't master those things, or these things rather. And every time you betray yourself, every time you say yes when you really mean no, or you really want to say no. Hey, Miss Portia, how you doing? Every time you do that, you are teaching someone how to treat you, which is why anytime, and listen, and y'all, I know exactly what I'm saying, and I know that I'm talking to you. And that's why every year around this time, we say like this in my church: you go in the garbage, right? And go in the garbage simply means you go in this emotional dump where you feel overwhelmed, you feel unloved, you feel unworthy. And if we're honest, it's really a spirit, right? You get depressed, and now we have used certain things as cover-ups to even mask that depression, or mask that discouragement or low self-worth. Because if you buy yourself a box of chocolates and you still feel away, you're covering up. You can go in John Bull and buy yourself all kind of perfume, all kind of jewelry, all kind of whatever, and still be in that emotional dump. So it really begs the question, did I teach myself that this is normal? Did I train my mind? I started to have a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were talking about a book. And this book, I haven't read it yet, so I'm just paraphrasing based on what they mentioned to me. And they talked about how this author, she, brings or shows how God is in science, right? And one of the things that she mentions in the book is that according to scripture, morning by morning, we receive new mercies. In the same way, in science, our neurons, if I'm not mistaken, they're new every day as well. So it simply fortifies the concept that you can retrain your mind and rewire your brain in a way that best suits you. I say all that to say, if we are training ourselves every February 14th, every Christmas, every birthday, every someone else's engagement, someone else's wedding, to go in that emotional dump, or go in that state of unworthiness and feeling unfulfilled and wondering, when is this going to happen? Wondering when this is going to happen, that is going to happen. If we can train our minds to do that, we can train our minds to do the opposite. Every day we have new neurons that facilitate rewiring the brain. Okay. Monique Maud Brown says, this is truth, boy. We love expensive things. That's why we stay stuck right in that and don't love ourselves. Agreed. Monique Maud Brown says, I guess we say a good friend lay down his life for their friend, so we sacrifice ourselves. See, I understand, and I feel like there is a thin line. And I feel that I have that here somewhere, and I'm going to find it in a few. There's a thin line with that, because if we look at the life of Jesus, right? He sacrificed, and it cost, he paid, we say he paid the price so we didn't have to. And maybe that's it right there. He paid the price. So why are we still paying the price for people? I'm talking about, see, he was placed here to die for us. I'm just giving a broad concept, right? Die for us, ransom of sins, wages of death, all this stuff, right? So, if what he did for us over 2,000 years ago on the cross, we still want to sacrifice ourselves to be accepted by someone that won't do the same, it's confusing. I that's why I say there's a thin line, and I'm careful because I do understand that, especially in marriage, there are things that you will have to sacrifice. I get that. Man, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. I understand that. But that's not what I'm addressing today. Today, I'm addressing the fact that we want attention, we want love, we want acceptance so much that we would diminish ourselves. It would look like Jesus coming to the earth and not preaching the gospel, not saying thus said the Lord, because the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all of these people tried to challenge him. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm going to go back. Hold that thought. I'm going to go back to that. So, like I was mentioning, you are really operating in self-betrayal. Monique Maud Brown says, I agree. We can retrain our brain. Agreed. You can operate in self-betrayal and not even know. You will say things like, it's fine, but it's not. You would laugh at the jokes that make you uncomfortable. You will agree to things. And this is what I was saying, Mo. You will agree to things that you will resent later. It's subtle. You can almost not see it. Self-betrayal doesn't... All right. Self-betrayal doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small stages where you teach yourself, put yourself on the back burner. Anonymous texter says, why we diminish ourselves for people. Honestly, Anonymous texter, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. But I believe that we diminish ourselves for people because we don't really know who we are and what we carry, or we're intimidated by it. I feel that when you have low self-trust, when you have low self-esteem, when you don't really fully understand who you are and whose you are, it's easy to diminish yourself for what seems like attention. And I feel that even in some cases, there are persons that never used to diminish themselves, but one traumatic experience can cause you, or almost cause you, to doubt everything you used to do, or doubt what you know you believe, or doubt what you know is right, or doubt what is at your core and what you believe. I feel that a lot of persons diminish, themselves to be in the in crowd. It's difficult to go in the opposite direction when everyone is going in the next direction. It's difficult to, and we even see it with children. They're still trying to figure out themselves. They're still trying to figure out life. So they do, quote unquote, what their friends do. They do what they see people do, not knowing this is not something, or maybe later finding out this is not something that I want to do. This is not who I want to be. So I feel that people diminish themselves for a number of reasons. And they don't even know that they're doing it. And like I mentioned, self betrayal is subtle. And that's what makes it all the more dangerous, because you won't even know that you're diminishing or dimming your light or making yourself smaller just to, you know, it's similar to, and I don't know if you guys watched the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing. It's similar to the movie, or I can liken it to the movie. Nick Cannon, I can't remember his character's name, but he was considered geeky. He was, the minority. He was, that weird, awkward person that the average wouldn't understand. It wasn't that he wasn't a good person at the core. It was just that it was never highlighted. And he felt like in order to be something or be accepted, he had to put on and be like someone else. Anonymous Texter, I already see you texting. Oh, yes. Alvin or Al. Yes. You got it. So, he diminished himself. He was working on this project with his other nerdy friends, but he felt like the attention was better somewhere else. And that's why, it's not one size fits all for everyone, but you can take it and apply it to you. Which area, and you have to, hey Crystal, you have to sit down and really ask yourself, what part of my life, what is that thing about me that every time I get around this person, every time I go around this group of people, or anytime I want to say something and don't say it, what is it that I'm trying to dim down? Do I not want to be attacked? Do I not want, people to not like me? Do I want to be accepted? Do I want to please people? If you feel these things when you get in certain spaces, or even in spiritual settings where you can't reveal too much of what you experience because the fear of being judged, it's not always wisdom. Sometimes it's you diminishing yourself. Yes. Anonymous Texter said, I just was about to say the attacked part, because a lot of times persons aren't willing, and I've mentioned this already, persons aren't willing to get down with the get down, and no one likes to be attacked. No one likes to be ostracized. No one likes to be the black sheep. No one likes to be the odd one out. No one likes to be the underdog. And you're right, sometimes this is Anonymous Texter, he says, sometimes you're afraid of people talking about you, and that's where you go back to the people pleasing. So what if they talk about you? So what if they jump to conclusions about you? And we mentioned this yesterday, where how someone feels about you or what they say about you is a direct reflection of them. But how you respond to what they say or how they feel is a direct reflection about you. So you can talk, you can say whatever you want to say. You can call me everything but a child of God. But I know who I am. I know what I believe. And so when we talk about love not costing a thing, it simply means I am not going to let go of my authenticity. I'm not going to let go of who I am at the core just for some roses, just for some attention, just for some accolades, just to, or I have to overshare or overcompensate. You're absolutely right, Anonymous Texter. That's where the oversharing comes in too. It diminishes our authenticity. It diminishes who we are at the core. The first person you lose when you chase approval is yourself. When you need their validation, when you need their go ahead to walk in the light. All right. Diminished authenticity simply means the gradual shrinking of who you are so that you can fit into spaces that were never designed for the real you. You know how, and I'm guilty of this, right? Because there were times that I would say to myself, anyway, your personality is a lot, reel it in because it's going to be too much. The way you just reel it in, it's going to be too much. But when we start to alter or gradually shrink who we are to fit in spaces that were never designed for the real you, you will lose the real you. And I keep referencing this movie because Alvin, Nick Cannon in the Love Don't Cost a Thing movie, he was a geek. He was quirky. He was awkward. But that was him. But no one gave him attention. Once he got that attention, he abandoned everything that made him who he was. He took on a new persona. So some of you can say, I have natural quirks or natural interests or traits that don't look like everyone else's. And instead of honoring them, you hide them. You like to read, but you are around a bunch of people that do not like to read. So what you do, diminish yourself. Why? Because I don't want them to think that I'm doing too much. I don't want them to think that I'm trying to be better. No, okay. You stop talking or doing what excites you around people who won't get it. What made you become that way? You don't just start to lose yourself. You trade yourself. You take on someone else. And that's the point that I'm trying to make today, even in light of, Valentine's and the month of love. And, we can't wait to see the photos posted with this one. Everyone gets engaged on Valentine's Day, and that's a big deal. And, it's good and it's fun, but I don't want you to get lost in the sauce. I don't want you to think that this equals or equates to who you are and what you have to bring to the table. You are overpaying in spaces and in places for love that you should never be paying. We give too much. We betray ourselves, and eventually we stop showing up as who we really are. Miss Portia says, show. Yes, we love the show. We love the facade. We have to. Yeah, if you're watching, this is me. We need to do the song and dance just to feel accepted. I want you to really think about this. And that's why I'm just giving this topic time to breathe. And I want you to really sit and think about, how much do I overextend? I overgive. I seek approval. I betray myself. See, we don't want to have these conversations because it really calls into question what we've been doing thus far. We don't want to talk about the diminished authenticity. We don't want to talk about suppressing your emotions and your desires and the things that you want to do just to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't even think the same thing or want the same thing. And that is friendship. That is on your job. That's in so many areas of your life. Okay. You overpay, and love really costs you everything. So there is someone that may be listening today that says, Joinae, I don't do this. I don't seek approval. I don't I don't sacrifice myself. I don't, what is the word I want to tell you? I don't betray myself. I don't diminish my authenticity. And I'm just going to give you some signs just in case. If you feel anxious when you're not affirmed, you may be doing things for approval. If you feel like you did a horrible job or because no one said anything, you're doing things for approval. If you start to replay conversations in your mind, rehearse them, wondering if you said too much, you're doing things for approval. If you change and camouflage and blend in based on who you are around, you're doing things for approval. If you feel relieved, not at peace, relieved when someone chooses you, you're doing things for approval. Mo, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's something that I said earlier. Could you remind me, please? If you start to feel any ounce of anything, feeling anxious, feeling fearful, feeling worthless, when you did something and you were not affirmed, that's a sign that you're doing things for approval. And I want to explain to you in, these last moments of today's show, I want to explain to you why love is free. And I even consider the scripture where God tells us to come as we are. And I thought about this for a while. Come as you are, come as you are, come as you are. And we hear it all the time. Come as you are. And I started to wonder, why would he say that? Why would you want me to come as I am? And in other words, he's saying, be you. Be authentic. I don't want you to put on just to gain my love or to gain my trust. But I would rather you tell me the truth. Show me what you're dealing with. And as this relationship between you and I grow, as our bond gets tighter and more fortified, then things will start to change about you. If you're trying to alter who you are just to be around someone or in someone's life or have them stay in your life, that's not the right person. Because the real or the right person will love you for who you are. That's what Jesus does with us. In all of our frailties, in all of our iniquities, he describes our heart as desperately wicked. But then he also describes his love toward the backslider. He leaves 99 just to come after us. This is a boundless love. Monique Moore Brown says, child, I'm not proud, but I'm guilty as charged. For real, sometimes. We change. And, we make light of it and we crack jokes about it. But even when we go to the States, we are Americans the moment from UCS getting customs. From the moment they give you that ticket, your accent change. Your accent change. Because Maybe you feel the need to be more palatable, to be accepted, to be understood. Jesus says, listen, I first love you. J-Dub says, accent come out of nowhere. No, literally. You are American. We need to check your passport at this point. But today, even as I think about love not costing a thing and the level of sacrifice, and I see and I observe through scripture what Jesus gave up for us, are we going to let all of that be in vain when we put on and when we cover up who he really wants us to be? God doesn't love us after we get it right. He loves us first. No performance, no payment, no pretending. You don't have to pay your way to heaven. You don't have to, perform or pretend just to receive his love. But you have his attention. You have his attention. And today, if there is nothing that you remember from the show, I want you to hold on to what authentic love is. Authentic love meets the real you. Not the version that you put on for everyone else. Not the version that you give your coworkers. Not the version that you give the people around you. But authentic love meets the real you. Not the version where you have to put on. Authentic love doesn't ask you to do the song and dance and audition for its approval. God says, come as you are. Come. I'm going to deal with everything. Not become first. Not perform first. But come as you are. Even Jesus invites us, and he, compels us to come as our authentic selves. I mentioned the scripture earlier where, scripture tells us, man, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. Authentic love. Jesus wasn't asking for anything in return. That's what true love does. It doesn't ask for anything in return. Christ didn't love the church to just get attention. He didn't love the church for approval. He loved sacrificially, intentionally, and truthfully. Love isn't control. Love isn't fear-based. Love isn't performance. Love isn't transactional. But love is honest. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is mutual. Love is safe. Love is rooted in truth. And I want to say to you today that authentic love cannot find you if you're hiding the true you. You know how the Bible talks about spirit, no spirit? If unauthentic is being displayed, then unauthentic will be attracted. That is in every area of your life. That is in every part of your life, even the most random area. You're right, Mo. She says, love is not control, it's truth. Authentic love, it meets the real you. Authentic love cannot find you if you're hiding. So today on the shift, I close by saying this. We said love don't cost a thing, but let's be honest. Many of us have been overpaying, oversharing, overextending. And this week, I want you to be intentional about where your love is going and what it's costing you. I need you to consider and sit with yourself for a moment. Is this authentic love? Or am I diminishing myself in some area? Am I doing this for approval? Is this dressed up as affection, but it's really just approval? I want you to sit with that. And that's it for today's shift. If you are new here, if you just joined the Shifters community, I want you to know I'm your host, Joinae Gibson, and we are here every Monday through Friday, same time, same place, favorite station, favorite person, right here on Glory FM. Of course, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So you can meet us on any one of those platforms. You can comment on any one of those platforms. And of course, for my faithful shifters, the honorary shifters who know that they call me, message me, send me a WhatsApp after, during, before every show, I want you to know the line is still open for you. You can reach me on the shift number, and that is at 242-823-9939. Before I go, I want to say today that our show was supported by Sela Party Rental Store and Supplies, and I want you to check them out today. They offered this beautiful balloon arrangement that you may have seen throughout today's show. And I want you to know this is one-stop shop, everything, all of your chafing dishes, all of your party needs, even if you need a popcorn machine for, birthday parties, backdrops, theme balloons, etc. They have it. They're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is Monday through Saturday. And they are located in the plaza. If you know where Southland Cathedral is on Soldier Road, they're the plaza opposite. Right in there. Tropical gyros on the side of it. You can find them. Give them a call today at 242-698-3530. Once again, 242-698-3530. They're located on Soldier Road, and that's Soldier Road West, opposite the plaza, opposite Southland Cathedral. You cannot miss it. It's a beige or cream plaza, if I'm not mistaken. Right? You can give them a call today, like I mentioned, at 242-698-3530, and tell them Joinae sent you. Tell them you heard about it on the shift. And until next time, don't forget to keep it locked and always loaded. This is Anna Kalitz with Your Love.
Express how I really feel. The words may not be enough. I'll sing this song for you. Tell me what you think. Your love is deeper than the ground.